Episode of the CattleUSA Daily Podcast. Today we are here talking Colorado and we're talking wolves. This is something that is not new to any of our news cycles and frankly something that a lot of us are probably tired of having to deal with as ranchers, as agriculturalists, even if you don't live in Colorado. This has been something that has been on all of our radars for a while. And specifically today, we're talking about how ranchers of the Western Slopes are fed up and how they are taking things into their own hands. A Colorado Sun story from July 6th sums it up perfectly. Wolves are killing cattle, ranchers feel forgotten by wildlife officials, and folks are looking for their own solutions. So let's dive into what is happening and what does this mean for producers everywhere. So a little bit of backstory. Since 2023, Colorado has reintroduced gray wolves and packs have formed, and they are doing what wolves do. They are hunting, they are dealing with the elk and the deer populations. But yes, in some cases, we have also seen cattle and sheep be on the wrong end of that. A recent rancher gathering in Old Snowman's described the scene. Ranchers packing into meetings, planning next moves, all while reporting livestock losses with little communication from Colorado Parks and Wildlife. The Colorado Parks and Wildlife Commissioner Ty Jacober even tried to call a vote to remove a problematic pack recently, but the vote was ruled out of order. And the tension is clear. Wildlife biologists say the wolves are doing their ecosystem job, while ranchers are calling them problematic animals and for valid reasons for all of the trouble that they are causing. Then the fact of the matter is there's no middle ground yet, and the friction has been simmering for a long time, and it is only continuing to get worse. And ranchers, like I said, frankly, they are fed up. They feel shut out, and some ranchers are organizing independently, pushing for localized solutions from range riders to deterrence to compensation systems. One idea catching a lot of traction right now is paying ranchers simply to coexist. Similar to wildlife payments in other states, it reflects the sentiment, we're doing our part, where's the support? So what does this look like? Currently, Colorado has a depreciation fund. Ranchers can claim livestock losses, and that's it, but here's the math. Producers filed about $135,000 in claims, yet the fund's annual budget is only $350,000. We're running out of money very quickly. And that's not a cushion, that is frankly just a leak. Plus, Colorado Parks and Wildlife reportedly denied or delayed many of those ranchers' claims. So, from a restoration standpoint, wildlife officials say most wolves are behaving. They're eating elk and deer and doing exactly what voters demanded for under Prop 1. Colorado voters approved reintroduction at the end of 2023. And yes, wolves are here, pups are here, but that doesn't stop the worry that your herd is next. So, local economics. What does the local level look like? With livestock losses and rancher frustration up, local leaders are sounding alarms. They want compensation tied to coexistence. Next, we want range rider programs funded locally, and they need tighter communication with Colorado Parks and Wildlife. Frankly, there's just not a lot of it going on right now. And ranchers are saying, why wait for state or federal solutions when the wolves are already here? Meanwhile, Colorado Parks and Wildlife holds firm. The restoration is a priority and management tools are being used, but they're not ready to cull entire problematic packs. So what does this mean for other operations? Even if you're not in Colorado, this matters. Wolf politics are only becoming more common as states consider reintroductions. So here's the lessons that we need to learn here. Proactive planning matters. We need to be planning in advance from range riders to carcass removal to everything else in between that goes along with wolf reintroduction. Colorado, frankly, as long as they had to, from the vote to put these wolves in place, they weren't ready. They weren't ready from a governmental standpoint. They weren't ready from a Parks and Wildlife standpoint, and they weren't ready for the effects that it was going to have to local ranchers. Next, we need to be understanding the compensation landscape. We need to know the local depreciation fund status, and we need to be advocating for if reintroduction is going to be a part of state policy, what does that look like? That local fund status needs to be significantly higher than a few $100,000, because if wolves start hunting cattle, we all know how that ends. then as agriculturalists, we need to be getting involved at a policy level. Once reintroduction starts, mitigations become your job too. You need to be involved at a policy level before the vote even takes place, while it's taking place, and then after. No matter what the political landscape is, we need our voices heard and we need to be taking action. So let's wrap it all up and lay the takeaways straight. Wolves have been back in Colorado for a while, and ranchers are getting fed up with the repercussions that have come from it. Compensation and coexistence programs are underfunded and strained. Producers are starting to take building their own response systems into their own hands, from payments to deterrence to local funding. And here's the thing, guys, Colorado may be the first, but it certainly won't be the last. Planning now means avoiding a crisis later. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of the CattleUSA Daily Podcast. This is just bringing in some hot news and things that are coming in on the press today and what that is looking like for agriculturalists across the Midwest, but across the entire United States as well. What that looks like for you, how you can continue to stay informed and educated on what is going on in our producer population and what is going on just across the world for agriculturalists as a whole. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you being here. As always, I will have the lead article linked down below that we got this information from. And I do want to plug in the fact that this information was originally found on our CattleUSA Drive newsletter. It is a daily newsletter that is going to hit your inboxes every single morning, and it is going to have everything you need in it. It is going to have obviously news and the top news reports for the day, but then it also has things like insurance rates and just cattle market rates and what is going on in the world with weather and everything else in between. If you think that there's something that you might be able to find there as an agriculturalist, you're probably going to find it. And I will have that link down below where you can sign up for that newsletter and get more details on the CattleUSA Drive and making sure you get that in your inbox so that you can stay informed every single day outside of this podcast as well. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see y'all tomorrow on another episode. Have a good one, y'all.